Hi, good morning, and happy Saturday. I am Ellie, and we are here at the Just Yoga Studio here in Corona, California. The studio has very graciously donated their space so we are able to have our Facebook Live classes for the Pink Ribbon Place. So I am very excited to be a part of this project and very excited to work in collaboration with the Pink Ribbon Place and Just Yoga. So, a couple of things before we get started. If you've noticed, my setup looks a little bit different. I have about what looks like a billion blankets, but it's actually about 5 blankets. And I have this very comfy looking yoga pillow. Um, so, what we will be doing today is a little bit of a sweeter type of practice. It is called restorative yoga. So, what restorative yoga is actually we hold very few poses and we hold them in ways that are almost 100% supportive, if not 100% supported by blankets, by bolsters, by blocks, whatever it is. What this does is, if you've never actually heard of restorative yoga, so I'll tell you a little bit about it and then we'll go ahead and start our practice today. So, restorative yoga itself, like I said, is the type of yoga that is supported by all these props. So, what the props do is it kind of limits that message that's inside. So when you're doing a regular practice, a flowing practice, you get a little bit of that signal into your brain when you're doing a really deep stretch or something that feels a little tight. You get that message saying, "Ooh, this hamstring is feeling a little tight. Ooh, this is kind of feeling a little tight." And sometimes the body kind of maybe will lock up. Maybe you'll feel it a little bit more. So what the blocks, what the blankets, what the bolsters do, what all this does is it kind of eases you into these postures without sending kind of that message into your brain of, "Oh, we're going into this really tight hamstring stretch." Instead, it's kind of easing you into it so you're not getting that message, but you're still getting that stretch. Again, it's very supported, it's very sweet. It's probably one of my favorite types of the practice, just because it's really nice. So today you will be needing about 5 blankets, maybe more. So pull out as many as you'd like, but at least 4 to 5, at least. Also, a yoga bolster. If you don't happen to have a bolster like this, because I know it's a very random yoga prop. So if you don't happen to have one of these, I would probably recommend pulling out even more blankets just so we can use them to substitute for the bolster. And if you don't happen to have um, that many blankets, you can also use, if you happen to have a couch, those really big cushions that you sit on, not your decorative pillows, but the actual cushions that go into your sofa, have about the same density, the same width as one of these. So those might actually be really good as well. Like I said, today's practice will be a little different. It's a little sweeter. And also, we will not be doing as many poses as in restorative yoga. Sorry, we do hold the poses a little bit longer. So today you will be seeing me kind of peek over at my watch, and that's really just to make sure we're kind of staying on time and kind of measuring out or timing out our postures. So always, like, if this is something new to you, you have any questions, you're always more than welcome, to put any comments down, anything that you're kind of curious about. I would be happy to answer those questions for you. So I'm very excited about today's practice. I hope you like it as much as I love this practice. So making sure we got a yoga mat. We have our 5 or more blankets. If you happen to have your bolster or the sofa cushion, or if not, we're going to use more blankets for this. And I think that is all that we will need today. Like I said, it's a very sweet practice. So we're just going to take a couple of breaths to kind of ease ourselves into our practice today. Kind of start slowing everything down. You're welcome to close your eyes too. And taking a big breath in and exhale out. Big breath in and exhale out. And last one, big inhale, filling the belly, filling the lungs, and exhale. And relaxing those shoulders down, slowing the breath down, slowing the thoughts down, and very slowly starting to open the eyes. So, for our first posture, we are going to be coming into a wide-legged forward fold. So, for this one, Ooh, if you guys heard that pop, that was my hip popping. This is traditionally what it looks like when it's not in restorative, right? You're just gonna go forward. So for restorative, we're gonna take the same posture, but we're gonna make it super sweet. I already have my blanket behind me, where I'm kind of half sitting on it, kind of half not. And that one is again to keep me upright, to make sure it's kind of giving me a little cushion back here with the tailbone. I am going to take one blanket and I'm going to roll it like a burrito. And this is really just for the knees, in case you got really, really tight hamstrings, anything cushion for the knees so you don't have as much stress on the knees. If this is maybe too high, you can always adjust it to your knees. So it feels good. It's supposed to be a really sweet practice today. So wherever you feel is good for you, go ahead and place it there. If you're fine without it, go ahead and do the posture without it. So what it normally looks like, I would bring my bolster, sitting up, placing those blankets if I need to, and just folding forward. Now, if you don't have that bolster, if you have that sofa couch, go ahead and just start your posture, your pose already. If you don't, go ahead and take your blankets, keeping them at this length, and then folding it in half so you got these cute little rectangles. Taking about 3 or 4 of those and placing those almost the same height as your bolster. So that's how we will substitute anything we have with bolsters, will be substituted with blankets in the same way, like this. And if I feel a little bit of those knees acting up, like I said, I can always take that blanket and place it under like this. So a couple different options. We're going to be here for a couple of minutes. So you might be able to sit a little bit in silence. You're welcome to close your eyes. Breathing in and exhaling out. If the hips allow, you can always bring that forehead down to the forearms. One of the things that I have realized when you do restorative yoga is that because there is such a space between our postures, because there's so much silence, sometimes our mind begins to wander. Sometimes we start to have all these thoughts coming through. So what I simply like to do is acknowledge all these thoughts, acknowledge whatever it is that's coming through my mind at that moment, and then just kind of sending it on its way. If for you that visually means creating a door and then just pushing all those thoughts out, pushing everything that's kind of weighing you down through a door in your mind, then go ahead and do that. But I always try to acknowledge it for what it is and then just send it on its way. If it's not serving you in your practice today, if it's not serving you for the next 20-ish, 25 minutes, send it on its way. It's always, I guarantee you that it will all be there once we're done with our practice. So we got about another 2 minutes here. So this is an excellent time to kind of check in. Maybe you can, if you're using those blankets, maybe you can take a blanket off and come down a little further, because kind of the body is settling into the posture and you're kind of like, okay, this is okay. The body is like, okay, this is very sweet. We can kind of stretch out a little bit more. We're not getting that really intense signal in our mind that it's saying to tighten up the body. So like I said, restorative is probably one of my favorite types of yoga. It is so sweet, and you feel so energized by the end of it, even though we're just holding the same postures for a very not short period of time, sorry, for longer periods of time, but you also feel like you get a full class. Like if you did a full like 1 hour flow, you do a full 1 hour restorative, it's almost the same, that same feeling of feeling energized and feeling the body has been stretched out. So continuing to focus on the breath, continuing to check in with the body. From here, very slowly placing those hands down on the floor, the carpet, the mat, whatever it is, and very slowly pushing yourself all the way up. Moving out of the way, if you have any blankets, whatever it is, moving it all out of the way. All you're going to do is take those hands, placing them under the knees and lifting those knees up. Keeping them pretty wide, sending those hands back, and then just windshield wiping side to side. Coming back to a standstill, let's go ahead and do a couple of cat-cows here before we move on to our next posture. So coming on to hands and knees, go ahead and grab one of your blankets and bring it down just for the knees for a quick moment here. Hands are about shoulder distance apart. Knees are about hip width distance apart. And inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, rounding the spine, moving as fast or as slow as you would like. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, tucking the chin, rounding the spine. And last one, inhale, drop the belly. And exhale, rounding the spine. Coming back to center. Let's go ahead and come back on to seated. We are going to be coming into our twist. So, if you don't have your bolster already, make sure you have those blankets prepped, just like we did for the other posture. So I will first demonstrate with our bolster. You can always take one more blanket and then fold it again like a little hot dog and place it behind you, again for that tailbone. It's always nice, it's always sweet. And from here, we're going to go ahead and bend that right knee like this. And then take that left knee and make it meet the bottom of that right knee. So it looks like I got this little zigzag thing going. From here, I'm going to take this bolster and bring it as close to my body, to my thigh as I can. Again, this would be where you would bring that really big couch cushion as well, the sofa cushion, whatever it is that you have, and bring it as close to you as possible. You're going to inhale, get really, really nice and tall, and then exhale and start to shift that torso, bringing that chest down to the bolster like this. You can look towards, your right side if you want a really deep twist, or you can even look towards the left side if you just want a little bit of more of a mild twist. Now, if you don't have that bolster, bring that stack of blankets you have once again, placing them as high as you need to, like this, and same thing, I'm going to get really, really tall. And then I'm going to start shifting the torso, bringing that chest down to all those blankets in that same way. So whichever one of those two works for you, what we're working on here is just making sure we're twisting and then bringing the torso onto our blankets. Once we settle in, we're going to go ahead and take a really big inhale, expanding that upper back, expanding the low back, even though it physically can't, but metaphorically is what we're looking for here. It's just to give a lot of expansion to the back side of the body. And exhaling, starting to settle in. Starting to breathe, seeing what's feeling a little off on this side of the body. Maybe sending the breath there. Maybe focusing on sending the breath all the way down to the toes. And then sending it all the way back up. Starting to slow down the thoughts once again. And if for some reason today the mind is feeling very active, the thoughts are feeling very active, I welcome you to maybe think about a place that makes you happy. Maybe a place that brings you joy, or maybe even your favorite color. And then thinking about everything revolving that favorite color of yours. Enjoying the moments of silence that we have. There is always something peaceful, something beautiful about enjoying our practice in silence. It really gives us a moment to look within, to really just be one with ourselves. And it gives us the power to decide what we want to think about and what we don't want to think about. It gives us that power to decide what we welcome onto our mats and what we choose, to send off. So I do welcome you today, to take that power to decide, what you welcome onto your mat, what you allow to be a part of your practice. Like I always tell you guys, this is your practice. I'm simply just here giving you a couple of postures, giving you a couple of cues. In reality, this is your practice. You decide what you invite into your practice onto your mat. And today I even welcome you to practice that a little bit more as we just slow down our practice a lot in comparison to other Saturdays. We're going to hold this for just a couple more breaths here. Again, working on expanding the back, keeping the eyes closed. Making every inhale just as long as every exhale. And when you are ready, you're going to go ahead and place those hands on the carpet, on the hardwood floor, whatever it is, and very slowly start to push yourself all the way up. Taking a big inhale, expanding the chest, maybe rolling those shoulders back, maybe rolling them forward, and maybe just letting that head fall side to side. Giving that neck a little bit of a massage, a little bit of movement. And we're going to go ahead and set up for that second side. So grab your blankets, grab your bolster, whatever it is that you have, bringing it to that left side, switching those legs. So now the left leg is bent with those blankets, that bolster up against the thigh, and then you have that right leg, that right knee up against that left side. Same thing, you're going to get really, really nice and tall, and you're going to exhale, start shifting the torso, and then coming all the way down onto those blankets, onto that bolster, whatever it is. Begin first by checking in, seeing how everything is feeling on this side. Our bodies are not symmetrical, so This side might feel a little different, and that's okay. This side might feel a little bit tighter, maybe a little bit more flexible. Like I said, our bodies are very different from one side to the other, so it's always really good to take those first couple of breaths to just check in with everything, seeing how everything is feeling. Once again, try to send that breath to that upper back, trying to expand the shoulder blades. You're welcome, like I said, to continue keeping the eyes closed. Focus your thoughts on a color, on a place, deciding what you choose to invite into your practice. It's a really good time as we're almost done with this side to just check in once again. Maybe you can go and twist a little bit deeper. Maybe you can remove one of your blankets to get even a deeper twist. Maybe checking to realign yourself as maybe you started slouching off to one side. Again, always just checking in and seeing how you can make this pose maybe sweeter, maybe deeper, maybe whatever it is that your body is asking of you right now. And if you're perfectly fine where you are at, then please stay there. Like they say, we do not want to fix something that is not broken. And when you are ready, you are welcome to stay here just a little bit longer. But if you would like to move on, placing those hands down and very slowly coming all the way up. Crossing those legs just for a moment, placing those hands on the knees. Then inhale, bringing that chest forward. And then exhale, rounding the spine. Inhale, coming forward. And exhale, rounding the spine. And last one, inhale, coming forward. And exhale, rounding the spine. And rolling those shoulders back. All right, let's go ahead and get ready for our next posture. Like I told you guys, today's practice is very, very sweet. I hope that you take these and maybe practice them, in your own time for longer periods of time. They are very sweet. Let's go ahead and take one of our blankets. We are going to be coming into our back bend. Do not freak out. Like I said, this is restorative, so it's going to be very sweet going into our back bend. You're going to take one of your blankets and kind of rolling it. If you saw me, how I kind of rolled it halfway up, and you're going to place it up at the top of your mat. That's going to be for your neck. So depending on how much space you have in your neck, it might be a little bit less, a little bit more. And you're going to go ahead and take at least 2 blankets, and you're going to be folding them like we do very similarly when we sit, when we place it behind us when we're sitting. So like a little hot dog, like this, and you're going to place one. maybe two, depending again how open maybe that chest is. You can always place a second blanket like this. So I always like to start with one and then I get a feel for it. If it's, my back isn't feeling that open today, or getting ready, that chest isn't feeling too open for back bends, I'll usually just stick to one. If it's feeling a little more open, a little more playful, I'll go ahead and grab a second one and stack it on top. And lastly, taking one of these blankets and rolling it again like a burrito, and this is going to be for the knees. You are also welcome to take that sofa couch cushion or that bolster if you happen to have one and using it for the knees. So I will demonstrate both of those for you. You're going to go ahead and come all the way down, making sure that when you're laying down, I should have probably explained this before I come down, you want this blanket to be right under the armpits, right about here. So we don't want it all the way up here. We don't want it down here. We want it right kind of where the shoulder blades are, kind of halfway up the shoulder blades, and also right below the armpits. So once I fully lay down, I'll go ahead and adjust both of those. So you can see my armpit is right about here and the blanket is right about there. And then I'm going to go ahead and find that neck pillow, adjust it to where I need it, and scooting in my bolster for my feet to hang out in. Like this. If I want to go a little higher, I can always come up just a little bit higher on here. And if I don't have a bolster, I will go ahead and take my little burrito that I created and place it on the knees in that same way. Adjust everything as needed and come down and let just my back bend work on its own as I relax. So like I said, we normally hold these postures for a very long time. And very long just means like 5 to maybe 15 minutes depending on the posture. But because our time is a little bit limited, we will be holding these a little bit less. But like I said, you are always welcome to practice these, at a later time. Press pause on the video, do your posture for a little bit of a longer period of time, and then move on to the next one. This is all about checking in with your body and seeing how it's feeling. Still working on that breath. Every breath, maybe expanding the chest a little more. And every exhale, just as long as every inhale. Working on sending that breath all the way down to the toes and then all the way back up. Couple more breaths here. this is an excellent time that maybe if your back is feeling a little more open, you can add that second blanket on and even bring a little bit more of a back bend into your practice today. If you are perfectly fine, like I said, this is okay. You are welcome to stay here. But it is always an option if you want to go a little bit deeper. Always, again, making sure you're listening to your body and not forcing anything. There should never be any pain, especially in your restorative class. Everything should feel supported, everything should feel sweet, everything should feel really nice, really gentle. You are welcome to stay here as we come to the end of our class today. We got one more little twist to do here. But, like I said, you are welcome to stay here. This probably feels really good. It's really sweet. But if you'd like to get that last little twist in, rolling onto one side or the other, or simply just getting straight up, go ahead and remove all your blankets, placing them on the sides. And we're going to go ahead and come right back down to our mats. Bringing those knees in, just letting them fall side to side, windshield wiping. Coming to a back to center. Go ahead and inhale, picking up that right leg, crossing it over the left. Inhale, picking up those hips, taking them to the right, and then letting those knees fall to the left side. Hands are always out, and you can always look towards the left, or if you want a deeper twist, towards the right side. Next, inhale, bringing those knees back up, realigning the hips, undoing the legs. Inhale, picking up that left leg, crossing it over. Hips to the left and knees towards the right side. If you have a little extra time, I do welcome you to stay on your mat for a couple more minutes to just soak into your practice of today, to just have a few more moments to yourself. Like I said, if you have the privilege of a little extra time, please do so. And if you're a little tighter on time today, then you can always join me in seated as we go ahead and finish our class today. Inhale, bringing those knees back up, realigning the hips, undoing the legs, and in your own way, in your own time, coming all the way up to seated. Hands on the knees or bringing them to heart center. Taking a big inhale and exhale out, enjoying that sweet, sweet energy you have created today. The studio, Just Yoga, and myself thank you for letting us be a part of your day, a part of your practice. I thank you for joining me in a new type of yoga, something new. If it was something that you've never tried before, I do thank you with a very big, big open heart for letting me be a part of that practice for you today. I hope you have enjoyed it as much as I have. And like always, I want to wish you a very lovely weekend, a very lovely week. Please continue checking the Riverside Community Health Foundation page as well as the Pink Ribbon page for any yoga related news. Like always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever it is, please go ahead and leave them in the comment section. And I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have, again, being yoga related. Please, again, have a wonderful weekend. And until we meet again, namaste.